Thank you for joining me, Diana Master, on NMH at 1, where we highlight the news making waves in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports and economic news. Coming up in this broadcast, judge cancels refusal of Fly Namibia license. FIC boss resigns from NIP, Namdia boards amid conflict claims. And the Cabinet Secretary says a 4-day work week won't work. Follow all our programs on 1up2.com, DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 in Namibia. Don't go anywhere. Midday News Update coming right up. In our midday news update, MTC CEO Dr. Liki Erastus says the rollout of 5G services will result in lower data costs, faster speeds and enhanced connectivity. MTC is testing its 5G capabilities. The operator will announce at a later date when it intends to launch 5G commercial services. This video is courtesy of Ohonet Lage.
Draw your kind attention to note that 5G is a fundamental platform for the 4IR. Because it is not just another G on the path of mobile technology evolution, but 5G combines greater data transfer speeds and higher processing power to enable the Internet of Things, connectivity on a massive scale. It will have a significant impact on every aspect of our digital lives. With 5G comes reduced data rates, reduced latency, energy savings, cost reductions, and higher system changes.
Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia right after the break. Stay with NMH at 1.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
And now getting into today's visual news clips, the Vice President of Namibia, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, arrived at Uvungu Green Scheme in the Kavango East region for a scheduled visit to address food insecurity in the country. This video is by Nikanona Ngolo.
Having seen and received the report from the ground on the food insecurity in the country because of the drought that we are facing, everybody is seeing it. And this is not only affecting Namibia, even some SADC member states were also affected. So the president then sent me in my capacity as the vice president to come and assess the green schemes and specifically to look at the preparation for the winter crops, and for us to see how we can really assist to make sure that the winter season become more productive. And that's why I said during our discussion, I really expect the manager to tell more the technical thing and to advise as to how do you think the government can chip in as a matter of agency in order to make sure that your winter harvesting can really add to the food basket in the country. So this is really the purpose of the visit, just to get the understanding and then to see how we can really assist the situation. So
The Ministry of Labour, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation, in collaboration with the International Labour Organization, launched the National Coordination Mechanism concentrating on decent work within the Namibian fisheries sector. The NCM for the fisheries sector will be responsible for overseeing compliance with international labour standards and facilitating dialogue among stakeholders to enhance working conditions and operational efficiency. Minister of Labour, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation, Otoni Nyoma, officially launched the project. This video is by Shelton Johannes.
My distinct honor to stand before you today to launch the National Coordination Mechanism on Decent Work in the Namibia Fisheries Sector and host the Business Forum on Advancing Decent Work in the Namibian fishery supply chains. The fisheries sector plays a crucial role in the Namibia economy, providing employment and uplifting the livelihood for many of our citizens. However, it is also a sector, as you all know, that has been marred by multiple challenges, including issues relating to decent work, occupational health and safety, forced labor, as well as violence and harassment on some of the vessels using Namibian ports. Director of Ceremonies, the status of employment relations in the fishing sector remains unabated. It is for this reason that the government of the Republic of Namibia has once again shown its commitment in addressing key issues that affect the operations in the fishing sector.
Stick around after the break. The Namibian Sun leads us into our newspaper review segment.
Hi Sonia.
Hi Tufeni. What are you reading?
I'm reading about the Child Care and Protection Act in this pamphlet I got from school.
What's that?
It is Namibia's main law for the children and the issues affecting them. The act classifies here that a child is anyone under the age of 18 years. Check out some of the rights meant to protect you. For more information, contact the Children's Advocate.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. We now take a look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers. The Namibian Sun reports that Financial Intelligence Centre head Brian Aseb has resigned as chairperson of the Namibia Institute of Pathology and Namibia Desert Diamonds boards of directors amid calls that he relinquish all board jobs due to the sensitivity of the substantive job as the country's financial gatekeeper. On page 3, 4 companies subcontracted by Panatu Trading CC to construct Havana Primary School in Katutura have accused the company of grand-scale exploitation, saying the true value of their work is not reflected in the payments they are receiving. Panatu, owned by France Munkata Kamene, was itself subcontracted by Namibian Defence Force Company August 26, which won the actual tender. Moving over to the front page of the Republican, Petrocorp Capital has secured a sequestration order from the High Court against Michael Hugh Bronkhorst, a prominent local chartered accountant and businessman, to recover around $103 million Namibian purportedly embezzled from clients of a Namibian insurance firm. In an urgent application, former Petrocorp trustee Heinrich Janssen van Vuren branded Bronkhorst a thief and fraudster who knows that his house of cards is tumbling and cannot be trusted. On page 3, although cryptocurrency investor Conrad Kunibota and his Zimbabwean wife Charlotte Murove were released last Friday, they were rearrested and are expected to appear in court again on Wednesday. Bota and Murove's case was struck off the roll on Friday after Magistrate David Mukuyu found that they had been arrested without a warrant and were therefore in illegal detention. He ordered their immediate release. Now on its front page, the Algemene Zeitung reports that many Namibians have followed Zimbabwean farmer and activist Ben Fried's ride from Zimbabwe to Windhoek over the past few weeks. Yesterday, after 2,000 kilometers on horseback, he handed over his petition to the SADC tribunal to have him reinstated. On page 3, former Judge Royce Moster's application for bail continues at the Katutura Magistrates Court. His legal representative insists on this as the charges relating to his alleged escape have been provisionally withdrawn. That brings us to the end of the first half of our newspaper review segment. We start off the second half taking a look at what's leading on the Namibian newspaper's front page.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Now, the Namibian newspaper reports that the Transportation Commission of Namibia must reconsider an application for the renewal of the license allowing the airline Fly Namibia to operate, a judge ordered in the Windhoek High Court yesterday. The order given by Judge Essie Shiming Chase gives Fly Namibia Aviation a second chance to have its application for the renewal of its scheduled air transportation service license considered by the Transportation Commission after the Commission decided nearly 2 weeks ago to refuse the airline's application for the renewal of the license. On page 3, the Office of the Prime Minister has issued a directive to the Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation to fund students who are due for graduation in April this year and still owe Namibian universities. This is contained in the letter written to the Executive Director of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, Alfred van Kent, earlier this month by the Secretary to the Cabinet, George Semata. The New Era's lead story reports that with the current general poor attitude displayed by some civil servants, introducing a 4-day workweek in Namibia would be catastrophic, Cabinet Secretary George Semata has said. Semata, a public servant for over 40 years, said this during a sit-down with New Era last week, where a barrage of contemporary issues about public service and his professional and personal life were unpacked. His comments come at a time when some local institutions are set to embark on testing the 4-day workweek waters in trials that will determine its viability. The pilot program is locally spearheaded by Pulse HR Network Namibia. It is expected to be implemented by selected businesses. It is scheduled for 6 months starting next month. On page 3, Namibian males between 18 and 35 years accounted for the highest number of people involved in crashes, injuries and fatalities during the 2022-2023 period, the Motor Vehicle Accident Fund CEO has said. At a media day in Windhoek on Friday, Rosalia Martens-Hausiku said females accounted for 36% of the road crash statistics, and although males are still the highest contributory group, there has been a decline of 19% in fatalities in that category. And now moving over, the Market Watch reports that the most of the members of the Namibia Building Workers Pension Fund, NBWPF, who partook in a recent survey regarding holiday expenditures, said they anticipate settling their December holiday debts only by the end of this month. A total of 36 respondents participated in the online survey, and 70% indicated that they incurred debt during the festive season. About 22% of respondents will have settled their debts within 6 months, while 13% will take up to half or 3/4 of a year. 11% will take up to a year to pay off their holiday debt. The biggest spending during the holidays for most respondents, 40%, was on food and drinks, followed by gifts for friends and family, which accounted for 18.92%. For only 13.51% of respondents, entertainment and activities were the biggest spending category. Sticking with economic news, government to spend $285.5 million Namibian on new vehicles. We give you the full details of the story after the break as we head over to economic news. Heading into today's economic news, as briefly highlighted before, the government plans to spend $285.5 million Namibian dollars on vehicle purchases for the 2024-2025 fiscal year, an increase from $76.6 million Namibian dollars allocated in the 2022-2023 financial year. This comes as Namibia's total new vehicle sales hit 1,102 units in February 2024, marking a slight decline of 0.1% from last year's 1,103 units, official figures show. According to the latest data from Simona Storm, the month-on-month data reflects a notable uptick, with sales soaring by 16%. Simona Storm said the performance aligns with historical trends, as February typically sees heightened sales volumes attributed to post-festive season recuperation and tax-driven transactions. In February 2024, rental agencies purchased 38 new vehicles, all of which were Toyota passenger vehicles. Interestingly, there was no recorded data regarding vehicles sold to the government, despite an increase in budget allocation, said Ndimulunde. She added that commercial vehicles led the annual sales increase, accounting for 57.6% of total units sold, as the category recorded 16.7% year-on-year growth. Sticking with the financial news, let's take a look at the financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 23.97 against the British pound, 20.54 against the euro, 18.96 to the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 63 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. First Rand Namibia Limited stocks took a dip of 0.50%, while Itego Holdings and Namibia Breweries Limited stocks took upturns of 2.50 and 0.03% respectively, while the rest maintained. Local index closed at an upturn of 0.12%, while over index closed in a dip of 0.05%. All commodities are down, with copper taking a dip of 1.17%, now trading at $4.06 US per pound.
Hi Kambaripa.
Hi Melissa.
You look upset. Is everything okay?
A healthcare worker refused to attend to me because I visited the healthcare facility without a guardian.
Healthcare workers are not allowed to do that. This sounds like a job for your shield of survival.
Huh?
Your rights, they're your superpowers. Your shield of survival is your right to life, health, nutrition, shelter, and an adequate standard of living.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
We now expand beyond Namibia's borders to give you the latest news from the African continent here on NMH at 1. The Allied Democratic Forces militants are planning attacks in urban areas, places of worship, schools, and public events, according to the army. It urged the public to remain vigilant to avoid being victims of ADF terror. The ADF has been linked to a series of deadly attacks in Uganda, including targeting a school last June. The group was originally formed in Uganda in the 1990s by people disgruntled with the government's treatment of Muslims. But after being routed by the army, the remnants fled across the border to the Democratic Republic of Congo. In 2021, Uganda and DR Congo launched a joint offensive to drive the ADF out of their Congolese strongholds, but have so far failed to put an end to the group's attacks. Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni has repeatedly said the operation has succeeded in killing a large number of ADF fighters, including some commanders. After the break, we expand to the rest of the world's borders by bringing you international news. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour,
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news both on the WTA for women's and
We are all seeking connection to each other, to the world, to the spaces we exist in.
Poor sportsmanship right now from the lads.
You might be physically ready, your body is ready, but mentally.
Here's another chance, and it is a goal from Vindo
Wij zijn CVI is er aan neertrekken. Hij bal lijkt mij grond gevat. Ja, hij heeft grond gevat. En dan zie
But just enough next.
Shh. Running that mountain up. Okay, so we will be doing this for the mountain climber. More advanced, slightly advanced.
So is jou trolley reg? Want
I love it. I love it. So then
kickstart our countdown at number 5 with this one.
Op Netwerk TV se Klets Kompas gesels ons nuus van 'n Maandag tot Donderdag. Ons kyk ook na die weer en meer. Stories wat jou raak en stories wat saak maak.
They've made a mistake in denying me bail, and they've made several other mistakes in many other cases.
The channels that teach us something new or reflect our expression. So it goes beyond switching to the right station. It's about choosing the experience that can adorn the present, dressing it with our tastes as we expand our preferences, because what we are actually connecting to is boundless, limitless human energy. And this is the spirit of NTV.
And now getting into international news. India's foreign ministry said on Tuesday that China was making absurd claims over Arunachal Pradesh, adding that the northeastern state, which shares a border with China, will always be an integral and inalienable part of India. China claims Arunachal Pradesh to be a part of southern Tibet. New Delhi rejects the claim, saying Arunachal Pradesh has always been a part of India. Repeating baseless arguments in this regard does not lend such claims any validity, Randeep Jaiswal, India's foreign ministry spokesperson, said on Tuesday. He was responding to last week's comments made by Senior Colonel Zhang Shaogang, spokesperson of China's Ministry of National Defense, days after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated a road tunnel in Arunachal Pradesh on March 9th. We'll be right back with our sports news right after this.
hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news both on the WTA for women's and
Hi, Kambaripa.
Hi, Melissa.
You look upset. Is everything okay?
A healthcare worker refused to attend to me because I visited the healthcare facility without a guardian.
Healthcare workers are not allowed to do that. This sounds like a job for your shield of survival.
Huh?
Your rights, they're your superpowers. Your shield of survival is your right to life, health, nutrition, shelter, and an adequate standard of living.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
And now getting into our local sports news. African Stars went into the weekend looking like they might just put daylight between themselves and the chasing pack, but only ended the weekend on 53 points. Ongos FC 3-1 defeat to UNAM on Friday and Stars 1-0 win over Ishoke Chula Chula on Saturday may have given the Reds hope of holding on to their title with 5 matches to go. Now, young men between the ages of 18 and 35 years are encouraged to apply to become a referee in the newly launched Namibia Rugby Referee Academy. And closing off our local sports news, another bronze medal for Namibia in Ghana was awarded by the discus thrower Ryan Williams last night. The 23-year-old national record holder took third place with a best effort of 55.42 meters, still some way short of his personal best of 61.15 meters set almost a year ago in Potchefstroom. Now, after the break, we bring you international sports news.
Hi Sonia.
Hi Turfeni. What are you reading?
I'm reading about the Child Care and Protection Act. In this pamphlet I got from school.
What's that?
It is Namibia's main law for the children and the issues affecting them. The Act classifies here that a child is anyone under the age of 18 years. Check out some of the rights meant to protect you. For more information, contact the Children's Advocate.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
Kicking off our international sports news, Nottingham Forest was docked 4 points for breaching Premier League financial rules on Monday, leaving them in the relegation zone. Son Heung-min and South Korea must move on from their turbulent Asian Cup when they return to World Cup qualifying on Thursday, while Japan face North Korea in a double-header that sees them travel to Pyongyang. Hajiva Dayimani has become too important a cog in the DHL Stormers machine for him to be released ahead of when his current contract with the Cape franchise expires in June next year. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1 and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast right after this. You're still with NMH at 1. For those of you that are just joining us, let's take a look at the highlights from earlier on. The Allied Democratic Forces militants are planning attacks in urban areas, places of worship, schools and public events, according to the army. India's foreign ministry said on Tuesday that China was making absurd claims over Arunachal Pradesh, adding that the northeastern state, which shares a border with China, will always be an integral and inalienable part of India. And in local sports, young men between the ages of 18 and 35 years are encouraged to apply to become a referee in the newly launched Namibia Rugby Referee Academy. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia and beyond. From all of us here in studio, do have yourselves a lovely Tuesday ahead.